Hello YouTube and welcome to my first video. This video is about how to solve the last two centers on big cubes. I'm using a 7x7 here, but you could use this same method on a 6x6 or a 5x5, or as far as I know it'll work on any big cube, alright? This is called the borrowing method, because what we do is we borrow pieces from completed rows to finish incomplete rows. As far as I know, I'm the first person to come up with this. I've never seen anybody else use it, but it would be really surprising to me if I was the first person to think of it, really, because it's so simple and so easy. It just doesn't make sense to me that nobody else would think of it first. The first step that you need to do, oh, by the way, this doesn't use any algorithms. It doesn't use any intuitive thinking or any stuff like that. It's a simple, easy process that anybody can do. It's very easy to learn, all right? The first step is you need to solve a couple of rows. I figure any mope can do that. If you solve the other faces, you can probably get a couple of rows solved on the last face. We're going to focus on the yellow face here, but whatever color you have, I always save yellow and green for last, but whatever color scheme you like to use is fine. It'll work with anything. So I have the center row here, and this row solved already. Anybody could get 2 or 3 rows solved, so I'm not going to go into that right now. This is where the borrowing method comes in. We have this row on the top. It's almost done, but we're missing this piece here. What we do is we look at the other face, and we scope out a piece that'll fit in here. See, here it is. We want to make sure that it's in the exact same position on both faces, here and here. See, it's in the same place. Then what we do is we move this one over, so this row is now on this face. We rotate it so that we can borrow a piece from another row. In this case, we're going to borrow a piece from the center row, okay? I slide the center row into the position, so now we have this row is completed because it's borrowing a piece from the center row, all right? Then we rotate this up so that the piece we started working on originally, it was right here, will go back into place. See how we rotated it? So this is going to slide back into place where these blue ones are. Then, before we do that, we double check to make sure the piece we scoped out first, remember that piece that was right here and we wanted to put it there? We make sure that it's in the same position on this face as the intersection on this face. See, they're in the same place. It's right here, the same position. We move this one in place. The cubie from over here comes over here. Then we rotate this around, and in it goes. So we borrowed a piece from the center row to complete the top row, and then we replaced that piece and put the center row back in place. All right? You can use this method to finish the last 2 centers. It works all the time. It works like a charm. It's perfect. All right? So let's do another one. There. All right. So I have this row. See, it's almost finished. It's just missing this piece. I come over here. I look for the piece that I want to fit in there. And I rotate this face so that it's in the exact same location on this face as where I want it to go over here. Then I rotate that bottom part, so the row that I want is over here, and then I rotate it so that I can borrow a piece from another row. In this case, I'm going to borrow from the middle row. It's the only row that I could borrow from. Sometimes you'll have a choice, but this time I don't. I slide that middle row in place. I rotate it down. Before I put this one back, I make sure that this piece is in the same location on this face as the intersection on this face. See? It's over here. Here's the intersection. I rotate it around, and then up it goes and into place. All right? I'm just going to keep doing this and solve this cube. So let's say I started this one. All right? So we have this row. Pick a piece you want to put in place. It doesn't really matter. Let's do this one on the end. Here it is. It's in the same position. See, it's right here. It's right here. Same position. Rotate it around. Remember, this is the row we're working on. We pick a row to borrow from. I'm going to borrow from the top row. This is the one we're working on. I borrow from the top row. I bring it back down. I make sure that the intersection of the row I was working on and the row I'm borrowing from are in the same location as the cubie that I used over here. I put it back in, and then I slide this back in up here. The next one, this one, we're going to do this one. It's in the same place as this one over here. See? They're in the same location. Slide it over. I pick a row to borrow from. In this case, I'm going to borrow from this row. Here's the one we're working on. Before I slide it in, I make sure that the cubie I spied out earlier is in the same location as the intersection on the other face. I slide it in, and then up it goes. One more left. I rotate this face so that this cubie is in the same location as this one. I slide them around. I pick a row to borrow from. Let's borrow from the bottom row this time. I borrow my cubie from the bottom row. I rotate this one. I make sure that they're in the same place. See, the intersection is right here, and the cubie that I want is right there. I slide the row that I was fixing in place, and then, boom, it's solved. No memorized algorithms. No intuitive thinking. You don't have to think 5 steps ahead like a chess player or something. You just do it. It's simple, and it works every time. Hope it works for you, and happy cubing.